Living in Boise, Idaho has so many great pros. There's a lot that this area has to offer, but I'm going to talk about one of the absolute best here today. We're going to focus on why is Boise perfect for people who love the outdoors. I'm going to go through 10 quick reasons that might pique your interest into the adventure that is just right outside if you choose to call this place home. And the first one, pretty obvious, is just going to be the proximity that we have living here in the Treasure Valley area to nature. Boise is located right at the foothills of the Rocky Mountains, and it is in a prime location to give you extremely easy access to all of the different outdoor activities that you might be interested in. I truly think outside of surfing and things that you need the ocean for, you can find any outdoor activity that you want within a 2.5 hour drive from Boise itself. This includes some great national forest, a ton of great rivers to go to, hunting areas, maybe you want to go skiing, we have a few resorts for that. But the truly special thing about living here in our area is you don't have to drive out an hour to 3 hours away to enjoy the nature and get out and just scratch that outdoor itch, because you have access to so many cool things located right here in town. You will have extremely quick access to a ton of great hiking and biking trails, especially in the foothills. You're only going to be a few minutes away from the Boise River that goes all the way through the majority of our valley. And that is just the first couple of things that will give you access to some great scenic views. You're going to be able to see some wildlife. There's just so much here in the actual metro area to where, again, you can make those big trips out of town, but you can also escape right after work on your lunch break and go out and just feel the nature that we're surrounded by. Focusing on those hiking and biking trails that you have access to, there are a few that I want to highlight. As I mentioned, the Boise River is going through the majority of our valley, but right alongside it, there is a 25-mile pathway, some paved, some dirt, going along that is the Boise Greenbelt. This is one of the best things that you need to check out when you're visiting Boise. Maybe you live here and you just haven't seen it yet, but it is a great place to go for a nice walk. You can ride your bike, you can take the dogs. It's a great place to go run. It's even a great place to get down and get access to the river for fishing. Maybe you're into bird watching, whatever it is. This pathway that just follows the Boise River, it is a fantastic thing to have right here in town. So depending on where you work, a lot of people get out there during that lunch break. Throughout the foothills, we have over 190 miles of multi-use trails that you can go out and enjoy. And you are going to find trails for every single experience level. If you're looking for a little bit more of a rugged expert trail to go out and challenge yourself, we have some of those, but we also have a ton that are extremely flat and they're easy to do for a nice relaxing one, or if you're just at the beginning of your hiking journey. A ton of these trail systems actually connect into some of the trail systems here in the city. So you can start right on the edge of town in the north end, for example, take a nice hike, and before you know it, you will be in a completely different part of nature before you make your way back to the general area. In the city of Boise in particular, it is a very bike-friendly atmosphere. They're trying to add more and more resources for bike-friendly travel. They're trying to add little things around the greenbelt. A lot of people like to bike to work, but as you get familiar with the area, you are going to see so many people getting on their bike for exercise, commuting, and just for fun. And this is something that I'm excited to see continue to grow over the years. The next thing that I want to talk about is the skiing and snowboarding that you have access to. But before I get into it, I do want to give you the reminder that I am a licensed agent up here in our area. So if you have any questions at all of my information is down below. I would absolutely love to help. But the skiing and snowboarding scene here in the Treasure Valley has continued to grow over the last few years. We have a fantastic local ski resort located just about 30 minutes outside of town, Bogus Basin, which was actually just ranked by USA Today, I believe, as the #1 nonprofit kind of ski area in the entire country. Bogus Basin is something that I've seen grow so much over the last decade or so that I've been here. When I first came up, it was still there. There were quite a few great runs, but it was a pretty small place. There wasn't a lot of other stuff going on up there. Every single year, they've just continuously added onto it, and it is a fantastic place. So of course, in the winter, you're gonna have access to the ski hills, snowboarding, there's gonna be the lifts, but the area also offers that downhill skiing. You're gonna have some cross-country skiing available. Maybe you wanna go out snowshoeing, you wanna go up for tubing. It really shines in the winter, and again, it is only 30 minutes outside of town. So when you go onto their site, you're gonna see all the different passes that they have available, and you're gonna see the night pass. This is one of the most popular because of that proximity and how early it gets dark here in the winter. That's for a different video. That people really do get out there a lot during those night hours. Outside of Bogus Basin, just a couple hours up north, you're gonna have access to Tamarack Ski Resort, you're gonna have Brundage right outside of McCall. So you're gonna have a few great options if you wanna get out of town to more of that classic kind of ski resort in the mountain town. But for those of you that are into those winter snow sports, you're gonna have some great fun. Next, let's talk a little bit about the water sports that you're gonna have access to living up here. Of course, again, highlighting the Boise River right here in town. You're gonna have access to that for kayaking, you can go paddleboarding. Throughout the summer, one of the biggest and most popular activities we have is just grabbing a tube, a kayak, whatever you want, and just floating down the river. You're gonna see a ton of people out there fishing, fly fishing. The Boise River definitely has a few different kind of paces throughout it. There's gonna be a little bit of more of the rough side, and there's gonna be a ton where it's just a leisurely float. But if you're looking for potentially more of that white water rafting or a little bit more of an intense kayaking, you can head up north, and we have got the two forks of the Payette River that come right down. And sometimes it's forgotten about, but on the other side of the valley, out towards more Nampa, Caldwell area, we actually have the Snake River that goes down that way. If you're more interested in kind of getting out on a lake, we've got Lucky Peak Reservoir, which is a huge thing right outside of Boise, kind of towards the southeast. It's about a 30-ish minute drive. And then on the other side of the valley out in Nampa, we have Lake Lowell. These are going to be two of the main hotspots. If you want to get out, you want to go boating, maybe you want to have a little bit more still fishing, they have some camping areas around. And this is just talking about what is here in our immediate area. As you get up into the Sawtooth and you start to escape out of town, the rivers, the lakes, there is plenty for you to choose from. Now, one of the things that I really like about living up here in the area is not only the access to all of the outdoor activities, but the different types of outdoor landscapes that we have here. So of course, Boise Metro area, we are in a nice little valley. So we have the foothills on one side going up towards the Sawtooth. On the other side of the valley, it's a little bit more of the desert and it goes out towards the Owyhees. So our area here is really at that crossroads of a rugged high desert to the south, and then the Sawtooth Wilderness and that national recreation area to the north, where you're going to have a lot more of that mountainous forestry, just that type of outdoor feel. Again, there's going to be a ton of great activities in both of them. If you go out towards the desert, it's going to feel very different than heading up north, but you got to check out the Bruno sand dunes and just overall keep it interesting. There's a lot of different things to see, and a lot of Idaho is just absolutely gorgeous. So make sure you're not just forgetting about one of the great landscapes that you might be missing. For those of you who have watched the channel for any length of time, you know I talk a lot about how we have 4 true seasons up here in the Boise area in southern Idaho. And part of why I talk about it is because it allows you to have access to some great outdoor activities all year long. Of course, you're gonna have the winter where you're gonna have access to all of the snow sports. In the summer, some of those river and lake activities are really going to be that prime hotspot. You're going to have various different hunting seasons throughout the year. In the spring, you can go out on wildflower hikes. You can go out and pick flowers. And then in the fall, of course, like everywhere, there are a ton of great places to go out and just view the colors as everything changes. But the main thing is, since we have those 4 distinct seasons and this focus on the outdoors and nature, there are a lot of activities and businesses that really do their best to tailor things throughout the year, so there's always something to do. And our moderate climate up here, for the most part, just provides a nice, long, accessible outdoor season outside of the couple of weeks a year where it's either extremely hot or extremely cold. As you spend more and more time outside, you're really gonna start to see all of the great wildlife that we have here. There is a ton of wildlife in the areas surrounding Boise itself. We're gonna find a lot of people out watching for birds out by the river. It is not uncommon for people to spot elk and deer just in the foothills. We've even seen people spot moose. Now, real quick, one question that I have gotten in the past, and I grew up in Colorado, so I do understand this question. People always ask about, okay, you got all the cool wildlife. What about the mountain lions? What about the bears? We do have that wildlife up here. We don't typically see that really that close to town, especially mountain lions. Growing up in Colorado, that was a huge concern. We don't see them anywhere near that much. But of course, the further you get away from the city into the foothills and eventually into the forest, you're gonna find more. So definitely do your own research, be smart, but don't let it scare you away. I've touched on it a couple times throughout the video, but not only do we have great access to all of the outdoor activities, it has really taken up a notch because we have got one vibrant outdoor community here in the Boise, Idaho area. And because of this, you're gonna see a lot of local businesses catering to outdoor recreation for the products that they sell, the promotions that they do. We have got some great active clubs and groups for all of the different interests that you're into. Some of the cool ones to check out are maybe you want to get into rock climbing. We've got some great groups that go out and do that. We've got some solid trail running groups. And a lot of the schools and the universities here have some really good outdoor education programs as well. So as much as we get it drilled into us to network for our careers and such, this is a cool thing up here that you can actually get out and just meet people who have that same enthusiasm for whatever the thing is that you're interested in. And one of the reasons why people just across the country like to get out into nature and escape into the outdoors is it gives you some nice, clean, fresh air, gets you out of the hustle and bustle of the city. And that's something that here for the majority of our Treasure Valley area, even inside of town, we have got some great clean air and we have relatively low pollution up here in the Boise area. So throughout the year, you're gonna have a lot of clear skies for those outdoor activities. You have a ton of great places to go for a hike, see the sunset, see the sunrise, but even look up towards all the stars. It allows you to actually get out and enjoy the hikes. You don't feel like you're always having to cough up a lung. And overall, it just gives you that healthier outdoor experience, but also that healthier way of life all the time. Now, of course, before somebody jumps in the comments, we do have times throughout the year where we get a ton of smoke coming down from any of the fires around. But on the grand scheme, we have got some great fresh air up here in our area. And finally, the last thing that I want to highlight is with all of these great outdoor activities, we've got such a vibrant outdoor community. With our population up here in the metro area, we have a pretty low density of population, which means you're gonna have a ton of trails and parks that aren't overly crowded. Of course, when there's a massive Spirit of Boise kind of balloon event in Ann Morrison Park, it's gonna be filled with people. But you're gonna notice pretty quick when you're going out for a hike, you're heading up to one of these ski resorts, heading out to a park, whatever it is, you're gonna have some space to actually get out and enjoy. And to me, that just makes it such a more peaceful experience than some of those larger metro areas where you're continuously just surrounded by people when you're going out for a run. So overall, I just think that Boise really offers a ton for people who love to get outside. And no matter what your interest is, hiking, biking, hunting, snowshoeing, whatever, you're gonna find a place to do that and probably find a community of people to do it with as well. So if you made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. Hit that subscribe button down below. That way I know that this is actually something that you wanna see. And if you have any questions, all of my information is down below. I'd absolutely love to chat. But until then, watch one of these videos that's popping up and I'll see you all on the next one.